Right, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. First off, massive thanks to everyone. We've hit 18,000 subscribers. It's funny, right? Because we hit 18,000 subscribers. I got notified on my phone. It pinged up from one of the YouTube apps to tell me that we'd hit 18,000. About 5 minutes later, I've looked and we're back down to 17,000, just under. So as soon as we've hit 18,000, a few people unsubscribe, a few people subscribe, but I'm pleased to say we're over 18,000 now. So massive thank you to everybody who enjoys the videos, comments the videos, subscribed, all that sort of jazz. So I just wanted to say that before we got anywhere. I'm in the van this morning doing this intro and I've just had a drink and I've spilt it down the top like some sort of 5-year-old that doesn't know how to drink properly. But yeah, I thought I'd try and get it out of the way. Right, today's video, we are going to try and recommission part of a heating system and the hot and cold feeds to a bank. It's in a row of shops where a customer of mine has purchased one of the shops a few years ago and we converted it into a cafe and a flat upstairs. This bank has been stood empty for ages, so he wanted me to basically go in, fill the heating system up, get the hot and colds back on, make sure there was no issues with it, which we've done. There is a few little issues with the power and the various valves that need powering up because there's no electric in the building bar for 2 sockets, but you'll see in the video. So we've got that, which is, you know, quite interesting, and they've sort of made their own low loss header in it as well, which is interesting. Usually you buy it as a complete system, but they've made their own one on this. So we've got that to come. Also, while I'm here, next week, 14th and 15th of September, I think, basically next Wednesday and Thursday, is the tool fair at the Rico in Coventry. I'm going to be there on the Wednesday for a definite, working with the Trade Legends team, going around interviewing a few people. So if you're there and you see us roaming around, come and say hello. We'll interview you, do a little bit. You'll be on the Trade Legends channel. But yeah, we're going to be milling around all day. So if you see me, come and say hello. It'd be great to catch up with some of you. I know I've met a good few of you at different shows, Installer Show and Tool Fair last year. Definitely on the Wednesday, possibly on the Thursday. I'm not sure because we've got a bathroom in between. I'm going to basically be taking out a bathroom and first fixing it, and then the Wednesday and Thursday, I think my tile is in there, or the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the tile is in there, retiling it. So I've got to shuffle stuff around, but it's allowed me to go on the Wednesday for definite. So let's get on with today's video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that jazz, and I'll catch you later. So don't ever say I don't bring you a massive wide range of different jobs. So this little job is in an old, I think it was a NatWest bank, but it's in an old bank that's been abandoned. Abandoned's the wrong word. It's been not a bank for around 4 or 5 years. It's a good customer of mine that I do a lot of work for over the years. Has purchased, he's got a cafe around the corner. I'll just quickly take you around and show you, which we did probably 6 or 7 years ago. So this was his original purchase. He bought this and then now he's extended down and bought the rest of this block down here. So as I said, it was an old bank that's been derelict and stood for a good few years now, and we've basically got to recommission it. When I say recommission, it's more a case of he's not sure what he wants to do with it yet. This ground floor area, which was obviously the original banking area, I think he may turn it into like maybe a bar or a cafe or whatever. This is going to be like a commercial sort of area. And there's a few radiators along the outside walls. We've got the rising main here, which I have just turned on for the first time. But upstairs, I'll take you up shortly, but upstairs there's only, I think, 4 basins, a couple of toilets. That's the only water feeds in this building. So let me take you up. That's the rising main. We've got that there. And then up here, it's quite interesting actually. Up here we've got the boiler and what is like probably an early low loss header sort of thing. The gas main coming in. What is interesting with this gas main is there's a big shut off valve on it with emergency gas. Because it was a bank, obviously if anything ever happened, you could hit that button and it would lock the gas off. I've got my gas engineer coming out to remove this, to repipe this, connect onto the meter and check all the gas is fine. So that's sorted. There's no water on, or there hasn't been water on. As I said, I've just turned it on just to sort of check everything's working. None of these toilets have got isolation valves on, so I'm going to isolate all of them, including this urinal, and then we know the water is safe. So it's just them little bits in there, and then 2 old staff toilets and basins in there. But yeah, downstairs is going to be commercial. Upstairs, I think what the plan is to completely gut all this area at some point, maybe extend out there, and then put a couple of apartments in, or flats, or however he's going to do it. But what we're here to do, he just wants to get this up and running, or at least watertight, and test the rads are okay, that they're not leaking, so that he can, if need be, run this system up, maybe put a boiler downstairs and cut the flow and returns downstairs, so downstairs would have a complete separate loop heating system. But he's not sure if it works fine, so we're going to get all that sorted out. They've got like quite a primitive low loss header system on it, which is great. But what we're going to do, pressurise the heating system back up, check for any leaks. If we can get it up and running, brilliant. If not, at least it's watertight and we know that the system is, give or take, all right. Because then what we could do with these rads that are in here, we could, for argument's sake, relocate a boiler at some point into here, for instance, and then just run the downstairs. But he wants to know if these rads and heating loops are all good. So first things first, we'll get the water off, get some isolation valves cut onto the toilets so they can be completely isolated, and then we can look at getting some water into the heating system and going from there. So that's the isolation valves cut into that one. There was already one on there that just feeds that toilet, so I'll leave that one on. I'm not too precious about them because I dare say it's all coming out in due course anyway. Got another one on there, and one on that urinal. So what we'll do, now the water's on, because this building is completely empty, it's been empty for ages, there's a musty smell in here and it's just old. All I'm going to do is, I've put the key into the bottom of this boiler, start filling it up, watch the pressure rise up on it, and just go around and check that everything's alright. At the end of the day, if there's a little leak here, or if it's a big gusher, I'll turn it straight off, but obviously that'll be really clear that it's doing it. But we'll just fill it up. The pressure is rising fairly well on it. But yeah, it's got an old sort of low loss header, so you've got your flow and returns going into it and then coming out the bottom, and it just circulates the heat inside that low loss header, like so. A couple of gate valves, I've spun all the gate valves and they all seem free enough anyway, because we're all, as we know, whenever there's a gate valve, they're either going to shear shut or just not move at all. But no, this seems alright. A big external expansion tank as well, which is good. It seems to have been connected up. I dare say it's been in years and years, but yeah, it condenses into a little trap there, a little pedestal trap, which is nice to see. But let's just turn the water off there and see if it, because you know if that gauge drops, or you can physically see it dropping, you'll know you've got a massive leak. But it's not going anywhere, so we'll just continue to fill it up and we'll go and check, and we'll pop down and have a quick look around and make sure everything's all right. So we're currently just about 1 bar on this heating system, so I'm going to shut it off and go and take a look at what's going downstairs on all the rads, get the covers off and make sure there's no obvious leaks everywhere. Start venting them and just get the whole system filled up. So I've vented all the rads downstairs and we've just come up to do these ones up here. At the minute, everything seems alright, to be honest. It seems like the system's just been drained down for whatever reason. Maybe that rad downstairs where they cut a new opening into the wall, someone's just hacked the pipes off, put bush fit cap ends on, and the system must have drained out from there. But as we go at the minute, it seems to be filling up okay. There's plenty of pressure in the system, so we'll get these. There you go. That one's just coming through. We'll just tighten that one up for now. I dare say this one will be through in a moment. But yeah, as you can see, the The main primaries are running through here. It's a bit of conduit, the electrician's conduit coming up there. Yeah, the main pipes run through there and then they go through that wall to the rad the other side. So they must pick up, that is just going to give them bearings. Yeah, that's the front of the building. So that's them two, Phil. Let's go and check what the pressure on the boiler's doing. I don't, is there any radiators in here? Yeah, there is. Is it just this one? See if there's one in here. Yeah. Done. Just going to see, I did just leave the pressure just trickling in to just top it up manually, but you can open it right up now and get some pressure. We're going to take it to about 1.5 bar and just see how we're getting on there. So we've now got the whole system full of water, pressurised, it's holding pressure. I just take you up because also there's a little change of plan that's gone on due to the electrics in this building. So as you can see, it's holding 1.5 bars, everywhere is pressurised, which is perfect. Now with this system, you've obviously got the fuse spur for the boiler. What we've got is some sort of electronic bypass. We've got a fuse spur for the pump. We've got the electronic shut off for the gas, and it all comes around to here into this spur. So what I've said to the customer is, I think the electrician's coming back in a week or so. If he can connect all these electrical parts up for the boiler into just one spur or just an extension lead or whatever, so we can get it fired up once the gas is sorted out, that would save a lot of hassle of trying to run leads up to power each individual one. So we're going to leave it pressurised. We're going to wait for the electrician to come and somehow connect all of this up for us, just temporary sort of thing. Then we can run it up as a complete proper unit and hopefully get it heat tested. But at least we know, like I just spoke to the customer, at least we know that the heating system is holding pressure. So worst case scenario, we could cut all of that lot out, get onto the primaries or the flow and returns downstairs and connect a new system into it, and we know it's going to be all right, bar for it circulating, which I don't see it being an issue, to be perfectly honest. So if we come back to this next week, I'll do part 2 of this. Seems to be I'm doing loads of part 1s and part 2s at the minute of different jobs. So yeah, at least we know it's pressurised, we know the water's on, we've got them isolated in there, so we'll leave the pressure up and be back at some point either next week or the week after to hopefully run it up completely, which would be nice. Just a little bit of an insight into what's going on here. I'm sure it'll be a bit of an ongoing project if this is going to be turned into retail and 2 flats above.